Welcome back. Just last week, President Bola Tinubu of Nigeria, through the instrumentality of the National Hajj Commission, granted a 90 billion naira subsidy to Nigerian Muslims who may want to perform the Islamic rite of Hajj in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. That decision immediately triggered intense public debate over whether or not government sponsorship of pilgrims in any form should override the interest of the citizens, especially in a secular nation like Nigeria. How constitutional is it? Professor Ishaq Akintola is founder and director of Muslim Rights Concern. He joins us now. Good to have you on Newsday.
Thank you very much.
All right, Professor, it's good to have you. Now, the 90 billion naira subsidy being touted to Nigerian Muslims for the Hajj pilgrimage, what's the rationale, you think?
What?
This subsidy,
Come again?
The subsidy being proposed
Yes.
for the Nigerian Muslims for the Hajj pilgrimage by Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu, what is the rationale behind this
Yes.
gesture, you think?
Thank you very much. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as we all know, has always been charitable, kind of. He's always there to give out, even at the personal level. Something he loves to do, and somehow God has made this individual somebody who hates to see people suffer. Now, you are asking for the rationale behind the 90 billion naira subsidy for Muslim pilgrims. These are individuals who have committed, who have shown commitment, they have shown interest in Hajj, in going on pilgrimage. That interest was demonstrated by their payment of the sum of 4.9 million naira each. It means they were ready, they were willing to go. But somehow, the economic downturn in the country, of course, this is global. The financial problem facing countries around the world has affected Nigeria too. And of course, it affected mostly our FX, foreign exchange, which of course bounced back on the intending pilgrims. So they were in a dilemma. Oh, they are still in that dilemma now because it's not been resolved totally. So they paid and showed interest. If somebody paid 4.9 million and is now being asked to pay an additional 1.9 million, having sold everything he had, having pulled together all this and our resources, you can see how difficult it may be at this difficult time. Now, this is different from saying the government sponsored people on Hajj. No, the federal government didn't sponsor these people on Hajj. The federal government found them in difficulty. They were in a dilemma. They are still in it. And the federal government, of course, being a responsible government, deemed it right, deemed it fit to give its citizens some kind of support, some relief. Mind you, from my findings, the total amount required by NACON, that's the National Hajj Commission, the body in charge of Hajj operations, total amount needed is 230 billion naira. It is out of this 230 billion naira that the Bola Tinubu government is doling out just 90 billion. It doesn't solve the problem. So the government has not been a Father Christmas in any way, but it has looked for a way of bringing relief to Nigerian citizens who are in dilemma. So 90 billion out of 230 billion, and that's why state governments like Kano, Kebbi, and some other state governments, Kogi, about 3 or 4 of them have also come to the aid of these pilgrims to assist them, because that was how far the federal government had gone. 90 billion had not solved the problem created by 230 billion. So this is what government has done. Well, there are still other reasons. We could continue to rationalize, but take a look at what the federal government did when during Christmas, this last Christmas in 2023, rice worth 100 million naira each was sent through members of the House of Reps during Christmas for their constituents who were celebrating. 200 million naira each was given to senator for Nigerian Christians to enjoy Christmas.
Professor Akintola.
No, they were not traveling, mind you.
Professor Akintola, please allow me to interrupt you. For the sake of time. Now, there are some critics who believe that 90 billion naira is quite a huge amount of money to spend on religion, which should ordinarily be a private thing in this secular state that we're in. And some people are wondering if that amount should be spent on religion in a time...
Beg your pardon. Beg your pardon, we are not in a secular state. That's a point of correction. Nigeria is not a secular state. People have to stop using that expression. Nigeria is not a secular... Nigeria is an inter-religious state. A state with several beliefs, several religions. We are not Russia. We are not China. We are Nigeria. We are Christians. We are Muslims. We are traditionalists. We are Ogun worshippers. We are Oro worshippers. We are Shango worshippers.
Your correction is noted. Your correction is noted, Professor. Your correction is noted. But there are people that are wondering that in a time of economic turmoil, should we be spending that amount of money on religion? Shouldn't we be spending it on fixing economic issues that affect all Nigerians, irrespective of tribe, religion, and whatever it is that we could come up with?
Well, just around the same Christmas that I was referring to earlier on, this same federal government that people are saying should not be spending money on religion in these difficult times. We had been in the difficult time since the emaciation of the Nigerian economy. What the former central bank governor did, which affected all Nigerians since February 2023, was still there in December 2023, when the federal government on February 21 declared train rides free from December 21 to January 4. Everyone who rode on the train, on the Nigerian train, and we know it was free. Nobody paid, and it was declared for Christmas. If you say we should not be spending on religion, what is Christmas? I just ask you, what is Christmas? So we Muslims did not complain. And the problem with Nigeria is there is so much impatience, intolerance on the part of the neighbors of the Muslims. Our neighbors don't want to see anything going to the Muslims. That is the truth of the matter. So free train, even on January 4, it was extended again. I think for about 5 or 7 days. I didn't hear any single Muslim complain. So if you hear people who are making an issue out of this Hajj subsidy, it is due to misinformation, lack of understanding, lack of tolerance. We need to look at one another as needing one another. We need the Christians. The Christians need us. I, for instance, cannot clap with only one hand. I need the two to clap. So I need my Christian neighbor to be with me, to celebrate with me. It is Easter now. I celebrate that with my Christian neighbors because we need, whatever happens to you, it's your neighbor who will notice it first. So we need to assist one another. We need to support each other instead of looking for loopholes. I think this is just fault finding. It's fault finding. This issue of 90 billion naira Hajj being extravagant or whatever. No. If it was on the extravagant side, federal government should have carved out 230 billion naira. Or should I ask through Arise TV that Mr. President adds the remaining the remaining 120 or something? So that he makes up the whole bill.
All right.
He pays the whole bill.
Professor Akintola, if I may come in.
Asking for that.
All right. If I may come in right now, let's look at the crux of the matter here. How constitutional is government subsidy for Hajj pilgrimage, considering Nigeria's, as you call it, interfaith status, you think?
How constitutional was the free train ride? Why are you talking about constitution today? You didn't talk about, Arise TV did not talk about constitution in December during Christmas when government was doling out, when government nearly became Father Christmas. You didn't talk of constitution then. You don't talk of constitution when a government gives out relief. This is about subsidy. This is about for people to survive. This is about for people to feel happier. This is about a better Nigeria. It's not about religion. Any government, any responsible government must hearken to the needs of its citizens. And of course, these pilgrims we are talking about, they are Nigerians. And they have shown so much interest by paying 4.9, almost 5 million naira each. And some of them, according to the stories that are published in newspapers so far, some of them had been saving for the Hajj for this year since for the past 5 or 6 years. Now their hopes are going to be dashed. That is not to say that we as a group in the Muslim rights concern want government to be giving out scholarship to pilgrims. We have not said that. And the government has not even done that. Government has only assisted those who are in trauma, psychological trauma. There are people, you see, suicide cases could come up through this kind of development. People who have been hoping and dreaming all day, all week, all year, and now suddenly they realize that even after expending all their savings, their hope is going to be dashed. Government came to their rescue. I think Professor that makes Akintola. This government a humane government, a government with a human face.
Very well said, Professor. Now, the focus of this discussion actually is on whether the government should be spending on religious matters, whether it's Christian, Islamic, or traditional. Some critics, particularly an editorial in The Punch, says the president removed subsidy just within 1 hour of being sworn in. And of course, we know that he's the one that also floated the naira. So they believe he's been inconsistent with his policies and simply playing politics by succumbing to religious sentiments. If he's going to turn around the economy like he has promised and he has said subsidy is gone, why is he still going ahead to subsidize, whether under the guise of religion or under any other guise?
I think this is a traumatized hypocrisy, selective justice. Even that Punch editorial was selective. Why didn't Punch write the editorial, any editorial, during the free ride for Christmas days that took more than 3 weeks? We think it helped Nigerians to get in touch with their families, and we didn't criticize that. The Muslims didn't complain. There was free rice doled out, 100 million through the House of Reps, each member of the House of Reps, 200 million through every senator to Christians who are celebrating Christmas in December 2023. Why didn't Punch editorial come out then? We are selective. We are jaundiced. I think Punch needs to go and take a look at that again and see whether it fits the December Christmas scenario or not.
All right, we just got word that
Yes.
there were also free, rides, trains and all that during this period of Hajj as well. But be that as it may, are there alternative approaches that the government could consider to support pilgrims without contravening constitutional principles, you think? Yes, it's not about, we're not focusing on whether it's Muslims or Christians or, whatever, but Hajj, anything to do with, yeah.
But this is coming within the context of the Hajj controversy. So if we don't want to discuss it, if you don't want to criticize it, then don't raise it during the Hajj controversy. Let the Hajj issue go. Let this COP pass. And then we will know how sincere the critics are. If we want to criticize, we must criticize all. Government has been very fair. Tinubu has been very fair to both the Christians and the Muslims, because he even started his charitable actions with the Christians. It didn't start with the Muslims. So who did this to Nigeria? Why must our neighbors want everything for them and nothing, not a single thing to the Muslims? It doesn't agree with the values of religion, the values of and norms of humanity. We need to be very objective when we are criticizing. You don't just wake up in the middle of the night and say, no, nothing to the Muslims. Why must you help Muslim pilgrims? I assure you, if it had happened to the Christian pilgrims first, and the government did this, you wouldn't have had pim from anyone.
All right, let me ask you this, Professor.
I am appealing.
Very good. Let me just ask you this question. What are potential impacts of government sponsorship of religious pilgrimages, interfaith relations and national unity in Nigeria, you think? Away from whether it's Muslims or Christians, but interfaith, everything, as it were.
Ordinarily, I think government should only come in where there is crisis, and there is crisis now. Government does not need to sponsor religion, but government can support individuals who have problems during cases like this. This is welfarism. This is trying to bail out Nigerian citizens who are in trouble. Imagine if a Nigerian is in Frankfurt, on the streets of Frankfurt, is hungry, is thirsty, is broke, is homeless, and he appeals through the media, and the Nigerian embassy heard about it. Will you need to amend the Constitution before the embassy intervenes? No, the law is made for man, not man for the law. You do not need to be talking about the Constitution concerning what Mr. President has done. He has done what every humane person would have done. And I want to say that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has this combination of charity and philanthropy DNA in his DNA. He has both of them, charity and philanthropy. Even before he became governor, before he became president, those who know him very well would attest to this. So people who are taking him up on this are being very, very unfair. If we have to take anything up, we have to go back to December 2023. And it's not so far away, just 4 months ago. Why is it that what is good for the Christians is not good for the Muslims? For crying out loud. Why? Nigerians need to look at both sides of the coin. Nigerians need to be their brother's keepers. Nigerians do not need to know whether I am a Christian or I am a Muslim before they judge me. I think we should stop selective justice.
All right, Professor Ishaq Akintola, Founder, Director, Muslim Rights Concern, would like to thank you for your thoughts on this issue. It's good to have you.